quarterback.
Oh, there's a goal.
Do you smell it, everyone? It's the sharp aroma of money being burned in the great bonfire of free agency. The NFL isn't as bad thanks to their players being guaranteed a lot less than their other counterparts, but that doesn't mean they're on some awful ones. Or some really good ones that will somehow blow up in their faces. Ladies and gentlemen, we begin with what may be called an exercise in frivolity, but it makes for some compelling talking points. The quarterback carousel is in bloom like flowers in the springtime. The first prize of Kirk Cousins, finally free from the shit show of the Redskins, takes his talents to the Midwest and dons the purple of the Vikings. A bold gamble by Minnesota. They had strong quarterback play, but the three QBs they had were either injury-prone or they felt were unproven. Cousins getting a dump truck full of money also helps with such a decision. Washington, on the other hand, is going with the guy with the higher floor but lower ceiling. And you wonder why nobody respects the Skins? As for the Minnesota Three, they scatter throughout the land. Case Keenum, the surprise story of the year, is surprisingly headed off to Denver. I say surprisingly because he doesn't fit the Elway mold of being a quarterback over 6'4". Teddy Bridgewater takes his rehabilitated knee to the butt fumble to be the understudy for Josh McCown. We can only hope for his sake that he gets another chance to prove himself. Sam Bradford, however, goes for the ironic signing by choosing the Cardinals. He's a perfect fit there. He's as injury-prone as the rest of the team. They've got a backup option as well in Mike Glennon. Sounds fun. Arizona, you may have failed to secure one of the top quarterbacks in this free agency class, but I can safely say that SeatGeek is a reliable consolation. Not only does it sort all available tickets on the resale market to help you get the best value, it's also durable and won't be injured by week 6. It even color codes tickets from red to green, grades them on a 1 to 100 scale, and gives you a view from where you'll be sitting. You can help yourselves to this bounty by using the code word TREE in the link below to get $20 off your first purchase. Be comforted, Cardinals, you aren't the Seahawks. At least you have SeatGeek on a cap-friendly contract. You won't have to cut it like the Honey Badger. Speaking of Seattle, it's officially the end of an era. The Legion of Boom is being dismantled. Michael Bennett, one of the elder statesmen on the defense, takes his aging ways to the Eagles via trade. Richard Sherman, he who was smacked down by the football gods last year, was cut and snagged up by a 49er squad ready to make noise again. Cam Chancellor and Cliff Averill may not play another down of football again. Sheldon Richardson, among others, are free agents as well. Paul Richardson and Jimmy Graham are also gone. As much as it will pain you, this had to be done. The Seahawks were far from their peak, and trying to keep everyone would have only led you to mediocrity. May this also be the end to one of the most toxic, cancerous fan bases in recent memory. The bandwagon jumps off and heads to San Francisco and Los Angeles. A moment of silence to pay respects.
Pass is intercepted at the goal line.
On the other end of the country, there is another blow-up happening in Miami. Because that city really desired to see another dismantling this winter, they have realized that mediocrity was their upside and will try to rebuild with a fresh coat of mediocrity. After Jay Ajayi was sent to Philly to win a Super Bowl ring, the Dolphins shed vets like Lawrence Timmons, Julius Thomas, and Ndamukong Suh. Have fun with all of that dead money from Suh's contract. Jarvis Landry was tendered a franchise tag only to be shipped off to Cleveland for just a tad more than what he would have gotten as compensation. The idea that the Dolphins want a culture change is apparent. What they don't realize is that the best culture change mostly comes at the top. At least you got Danny Amendola. Revenge for Wes Welker? Let's move further north to the Factory of Sadness. After an immaculate 0-16 season, there is nowhere to go but up. They will shoot for such mobility after a wave of shakeups. Besides the aforementioned Landry trade, Tyrod Taylor will now add his name to the great QB jersey of the Browns. Out goes Deshaun Kaiser, exiled to Green Bay for Demarius Randall and Danny Shelton. He gets rewarded by going to the Patriots. Because of this, he will probably turn into an All-Pro 5 times over to spite Cleveland. This always happens. Be compensated for such reality by signing guys like Carlos Hyde and Chris Hubbard. Now you may be ready for a 6-win season. Considering last season, this is a major improvement. This optimism is immediately shot to hell as Joe Thomas retires. I light a candle for one of the most heinous wastes of a career we have ever seen. It saddens me that this guy didn't even get the aroma of the postseason, even if he chose to remain there. Take care, Joe. Enjoy the comforts of friends and family in retirement. The football world will miss you. See you in Canton. San Francisco, you have gone from the pit of misery to talking ridiculous amounts of shit. Although having a shit ton of cap space and pulling a quarterback out of your ass will do that to a fan base. Prepare yourselves for a shopping spree. They'll take a Richard Sherman, a Weston Richburg, and they'll also take a Jerick McKinnon. At $7.5 million per year? He's talented, yes, but is he really worth being the 4th highest paid running back in the league? Talk about money to burn. Titans, you were defeated by the Patriots handily this past postseason. What you chose to do is the next best thing. Sign a lot of their old players. Dion Lewis and the scorned Malcolm Butler come on down to the Music City. New England also loses one of their O-line stalwarts in Nate Solder, who was given several briefcases loaded with cash to sign with the Giants. Now you wait to see if Gronk heads west to Hollywood for an acting career. Hopefully for New England's sake, that answer is a resounding no. They can't afford much more bleeding, even if Black Magic will probably lead them to another AFC East title. You've been busy, Rams. You're doing things. Lots of things. Prepare for an overhaul of the secondary and linebacker core. Out go Trumaine Johnson, Robert Quinn, and Alec Ogletree. In comes Aqib Talib's rivalry with Michael Crabtree and Marcus Peters' legendary flag-throwing abilities. I expect more shenanigans between the two of them, especially if Crabtree stays in California. The Rams look to be a favorite for the NFC West now that Seattle will be significantly weakened. San Francisco seems to be their only legitimate competition unless the Cardinals can stay healthy for once. I would be happy for this team, but once again, Crunky. Fuck that guy. Buffalo is trying to do everything in their power to shed the walking mediocrity moniker. They are taking steps to make bold, aggressive moves. They're looking to trade up in the draft to select an elite quarterback, sending Cordy Glenn to the Bengals to begin the process. A.J. McCarron has been freed from Cincinnati to be a stopgap option at QB. They feel that selecting one of those top players will aid them in the future. Best of luck, Buffalo. May you succeed so I can no longer rely on this crutch to talk about you. The Bears are also doing things. Wide receiver was a major issue for them last year due to injuries and poor talent. They have tried to aid this in signing Taylor Gabriel, Trey Burton, and Allen Robinson to give Trubisky targets to throw to. If Robinson can recover from his injury, that should be a good signing for them. The Bears will live and die by Trubisky next season. If he can take the next step, they could make the postseason. If not, it will be pain. Looking further into the NFC North, Green Bay has finally realized that free agency is an important part of the offseason. They've realized the sense of urgency after Aaron Rodgers' injury and have been active on the market. Entering the fray is Muhammad Wilkerson, a talented D-lineman whose antics ran him out of the butt fumble, and Jimmy Graham, whom should bolster the passing attack even if his skills have eroded. This all comes at the cost of an old fan favorite, however. Jordy Nelson was a victim of the cap gods and was cut. Even as he lost a step last year, it still stings the Packer faithful. He now gets to go west to Spider 2Y Banana with the Raiders. What fruits will further free agency bring us this year? Who will win the ultimate prize of offseason champion? That is to be determined.